He had called out to us, but no one heard him. To my surprise, Mit Prong pulled out his banana leaf roll, the size of a large coconut. He spread it in front of Fala and told him to eat. It was cooked rice. I couldn't believe it. We had been walking most of the day without food. He knew we were hungry and did nothing. Fala stuffed his face nonstop. Mit Prong took a few mouthfuls for himself and went to the forest nearby. I was hungry too. I grabbed a few mouthfuls of my own and left the rest for Fala. I walked to help Mit Prong since he already cut down a small tree, making a pole to carry Fala. He tied his hammock to both ends, leaving the hammock hanging in the middle. As we finished making the hammock pole, we placed Fala in the hammock. I carried the front end and he carried the back. As we reached Sam, he offered no relief because his leg was seriously injured from falling. By the time we reached the rest of the team, no daylight remained, a slim chance to reach Shreville after dinner, or for dinner. Late afternoon turned to night. The road was empty. No one traveled except our team. By the time we reached Shreville, the villagers were sound asleep, leaving us hungry for the night. We went to sleep with empty stomachs at an empty pagoda. By sunrise the next morning, I managed to catch a few hours of sleep on a dirt floor. After receiving plates of rice porridge, we joined other districts' mobile teams by the hundreds. They came from other villages, creating the largest work camp I'd ever seen. Fala rested at the base camp while we attacked miles of golden rice fields. Like ants of the Amazon forest, we moved nonstop under the scorching sun of Cambodia. Though the nights we worked under campfires, or should I stop right there? Or under campfires to complete more than 12 hours work per day. With only a few hours of sleep, we repeated the same work the next day. Is that good or sorry? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Micaela. An experience in rice harvesting, I cut my left small finger to the bone. Blood gushed out from my finger nonstop under the hot sun. No medical treatment was offered. I stopped the blood flow by applying tobacco to my own wound and continued working. The pain was so unbearable I wanted to cry, but this was not useful. If you have the strength to cry, you're not working hard enough. You're not tough enough, and your thinking hasn't changed from your old ways. From that, you're considered lazy. The next day, I continued working as if nothing had happened. 20 days to be exact. We, the new people, completed miles of cereal rice for the harvesting season. For that, we received a bowl of cooked rice with a piece of dry fish or pahok for each meal. Sadly, Fala was not able to eat his rice. He was taken away, Khmer Rouge style, for being non-productive. Fala was sick. Instead of helping him to heal, Khmer Rouge killed him. For Khmer Rouge, non-production equated to leeching, and Ankar had zero tolerance for people who they thought were worthless. Fala was a victim of Khmer Rouge failed policy. You don't eat if you don't work. If you don't work, you're the enemy. The enemy was to be destroyed. Fala's dream valued less than a bowl of rice. We lived and worked under the communist system of punishments. What is the motivation that you ask?
Thank you, everyone.
That's great.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for reading from chapter 10 until chapter 11. So now the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Yes. Go ahead, Gloria.
My question is, while all this was happening, did you have any hope that it would be over soon, or was it just hopelessness the entire time?
Yeah, it's entire time hopeless, but pray that this cannot be continued. You know, I feel that cannot be continued because it's not just us as a new people who suffer. You know, at the time, also there is the conflict between the Khmer themselves. you know, different part of the country, the struggle in the power grab, you know, all that. Yeah, but during that time, yes, it's no hope, you know, but pray that something will happen.
Yes. Look at Derrick.
Okay.
Okay.
Derrick.
I have a question on the page 87. It's talking about the bee hunting become favorite activity. That phrase, right? The sentence right there. So you learn from way before, or just learn at the same time when you're in the mobile?
No, I'm learning before the mobile. I learned to, you know, to find bees because there's no sugar, nothing's even salt, you know, difficult to find. So I find out that to survive because Pukrat, you know, one time he showed it to me. He showed how to hunt bee, you know, and from that on, I know the secret. And he told me, you know, what kind of bee I should go for it. Don't go for the big one, go for the smaller one, you know, so it's easier. If they sting you, it's not so bad. But man, I don't care whether they sting me or not. So what in my hand was, you know, get sting a lot, but at least I get some sugar, some food, you know. So yes, I learn it as it go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Next.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My question is, how come they mobilize the worker on a short notice?
Well, because sometimes, you know, Ankar, when you go and work in certain places, and then they say, oh, some other place need worker, you know, is this Karatan or these camps is like toward the completion, so they pull out some of the teams, you know, to go some other place. So when they told you to go, the next day, boom, you go. You know, so it's no planning, nothing. It's just they tell you to go, you go. You know, that's a mobile team all about.
Yeah. Thank you.
Micaela?
I was curious about when you started to realize that there was two people missing in your group. What were the thoughts running through your head? Like, it sounds like you were very well aware that they were missing, but what were you thinking happened to them? Or I don't know, like, what
Well,
was your...
my initial thought is that for Khmer, you
Mhm.
don't speak to the leader. You don't speak to them
Oh, okay.
first,
Yeah.
unless they speak to you. So I have a dilemma. I know I wanted to tell people that, hey, people missing, but I'm afraid that I might cause problem because people
I see.
wanted to walk as fast as they can so that they can get to Israel so they can get their dinner, right?
Yeah.
So they probably know, but they probably acting like they're not knowing. But to me, I just feel that, man, you know, it cannot be because we come as a group. I mean, what happened to the two that's left behind? So that's why I decided that I had to looking for uh, a chance, you know,
Yeah.
to let at least to let the leader know, and then he can decide what he needed to do. You know, a good thing that he feel that you know, we should go find them. You know,
Yeah.
I was glad, even though I wanted to rest like the rest of the people, the rest of the team, right? But yeah, you know, for somehow he picked me to go with him, so
Yeah.
I go. You know, but I'm glad I went with him. At least I get a couple of mouthful of rice.
Yeah. It sounds like you were really brave too, and it might have been something that everybody else was thinking about doing too. And like
Yeah,
speaking out.
yes, I
So you
think
did it.
so because I feel that, you know, as a rule, you don't speak to them
Yeah.
unless they speak to you, you know. But I take my chances because I knew that he's a former Buddhist. You know, he shouldn't be that bad. You just let him know that people is missing, right?
Hmm.
How it could be wrong, you know. I just
Yeah.
feel that, but I had to wait for perfect timing, and I knew that
Hmm.
he haven't called out for a while, you know. So I'm take my chances. Hey, you know, people missing, you haven't count for a while. You know,
Yeah.
I took, you know, you know. So I didn't tell him I count anything. I just say that I don't know. It's just, your people missing. So he counted.
Yeah.
You know, and the people missing. You know, so yeah.
Thank you for
Right,
sharing.
thank you. Kerry?
Kerry?
Yeah. You mentioned tobacco. Did the Khmer Rouge plant tobacco crops?
Yes, they have certain village, especially in Kampong Cham, you know, certain island, they plant a tobacco crop, you know.
Oh.
So, and then they, whatever they harvest, they share among, especially the mobile team, because a lot of them smoke tobacco, so that to get rid of the mosquito around you or whatnot, you know. So they share, they give. They're like, I have like a whole bunch of tobacco, but I don't smoke, right? So I save that, and that tobacco is also saved my life too. You know, sometimes when people they very hungry for tobacco, you know, I can give them, you know, a cigarette or tobacco, but they have to give me something to eat, you know. So I switch it that way, you know. So yes, it for the mobile team, they have that tobacco. So as in, I would say it an incentive, or they feel that because there's this mobile team work the hardest, you know, they give, you know, it's not much, you know, it's a handful of, you know, but enough for, you know, 10, maybe 15 cigarette, you know, and that is for people who need that, you know, taste of tobacco.
That's
You know,
everything.
yeah, that's everything, you know.
One last question. Related to the book, but not in the book. Some world event. How do you feel about the passing of what's his name? Khmer Rouge prison chief Gang Good Eve, or known as Doik?
Dutch.
Dutch.
The passing, he died.
Yeah, he died today. Or
Yeah.
not relatively, yeah.
Well, I mean, he's very fortunate that they be able to get the fair, you know, the fair trial supposedly, and then he died. You know, nobody killed him or anything like that. He's had blood on his hand for, you know, thousands of people. You know, Dutch, even though he not the high athlon during the Khmer, but he's the head of the S21 prison. You know, yeah, I have knows what you call it, feeling, you know, about him. Ask what I'm sad, or just, you know, just part of life. You know, maybe it's time. No, he's an old man anyways. You know, maybe it's time. You know, he have good life. You know, he have a chance to live good life out his life. So, you know, not the rest of them 2 million people cut short, yeah, by him, by the Khmer Rouge. So Gloria, have any question?
Okay, Lupu, let me ask for your clarification regarding chapter 10. You know, I learned that chapter 10 is the shortest chapter for the book. So could you tell us what is the rationale behind the chapter 10? Why it too short?
Well,
My second question is the chapter 11. The title is the Health on Earth. So could you describe a little bit?
Chapter 10 is supposed to be.
What does hell mean?
Hell, okay, hell.
Okay.
Yeah, hell.
Yeah.
It means like you know, dark place that people don't want to go. You know, heaven and hell, the opposite of heaven. You know, hell, it means like Nero, Ta Nero. បើយើងចង់និយាយពីខ្មែរ so hell is like you live, you work like hell, like you live in the, like Tanaro, people slap, people, I mean, eat, that's what I mean by hell. Yeah. So in terms of chapter 10, as opposed to be in the same as chapter 9, but the reason I split it, I wanted to address that sometime when you have no hope, but you don't lose hope. You continue do whatever you need to do to to show that you try your hardest, and something good will happen if you honestly do the best you can, with the time that given. Even though I knew in my heart that no, I'm not going to make it to the flood season, because corn, you need at least 3 months to grow, to get to that, and I barely make it. But my rationale is that just do it, just show that you do it, you work hard. And it worked out. It's, I didn't know that they don't have vegetable to eat during the flooding season. And my they call it snip food. When young corn is snip food, become a vegetable. And during that flood season, there's no food. You only have some rice, but there's nothing to go with it. So it become very popular. And people during that time, they seem to express some grateful of my effort. So a couple of days later, the person give one, uh, corn, ear of corn, and another drop in another ear of corn. So soon I have like 100 of them, so enough for me to survive that flooding season that lasts about a month or so, So that is a rationale that I wanted to, put it in. That's part of survival. Sometimes you feel that you might not make it, but just do the best you can. Something good will happen. That is the rationale behind chapter 10.
Yep.
Yeah. So Gloria.
Yes,
Well,
I
okay.
was wondering, back to Comrade Dutch and the extraordinary chambers in the courts of Cambodia with the United Nations putting the Khmer Rouge leaders to trial. I know there has been a lot of different opinions on whether justice was really received or if people thought that money could have been better spent. I wrote my senior essay on it during my undergraduate years, and I was wondering, how do you feel about that? Do you think justice was done?
I have that on my earlier chapters. No, I don't think so. I think it's a waste of time. I think the money could be well spent something place else. The reason they're doing it, I put on my book, because of because save face. They've been neglected Cambodia for all this time. So, like why they just do it now? Like 20 years past, the Khmer Rouge, they should do it right when they get rid of Khmer Rouge. You try him right away. The main thing is Pol Pot. You trial him. Why let him go free? And then you pick up, Dutch, nothing. He have nothing to do with the, decision. He just do what he job is, and then he's, so yeah, I don't feel, personally, I don't feel it's justice served. Money should have spent someplace else and explained it, and they need to should do it early enough. I think it's just, just save face. I wrote it. I wrote it on my book's earlier chapters. Hello, it's your son. Boy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, yes, I don't think, I don't think so. It's not just me. I think most of the people feel the same way. I mean, why now? Plus, the current government control everything, control the outcome of it. You cannot do anymore.
Thank you.
So, Derrick, yeah, go ahead.
Good, Derrick. Unmute yourself.
Okay, I have one here is on page 88. At the bottom of the 88 page is talking about Kilson Pond, who was in charge of Anga supply and said too much food makes people lazy.
Yeah.
So that phrase all until one destiny. So his intentions to abuse all these people, I mean the Cambodian people at that time under his
Yeah.
policy.
I'm not. I have nothing to feel that that is his intention, but at least there is I would say that in excuse or explanation of the lack of food that he responsible to provide the people with the food, so that phrase or that word is just his way of explain that why we don't have enough food. Instead of saying that we don't have enough food, he put into something else, so that's how the Khmer, not just the Khmer, I'm pretty sure the politics of the United people in the United States and in other country will do the same. They say something to fit, to fit the agenda, put it this way. Doing the right thing is not normal, in general, I'm saying, and not just the Khmer Rouge. But the reason I put that phrase sentence it because from his mouth, I had to put it in because I happen to come across what he's saying, so at least, I show it that, yeah, let people judge, what the attention in his attention or not. But in terms of to kill people, yes, Pol Pot and Nujir have an intention to kill, to eliminate the intellectual. I'm pretty sure Kill Some Pawn also part of that too, but he's not diehard, person. He just go along, he just don't want to make wave,
So he in charge of supply only.
Yeah, but one time he was a president of the, the whole Khmer Rouge thing, but he have no powers. He have no powers. They put him in front, as a, they call it, like top tier, but he have no powers, because he not a part of, revolution. He the person who do not like Sihanouk during his work with him. He decided to get out. That's all, and nowhere to go but to join, Pol Pot and Ieng Sary and Noon Chia and all that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. Next.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, and my question is, Mr. Kyle, they want our country, which is Cambodia, to be the powerful. They proclaim that, but yet they don't want to use the car. They rather walk, taking many miles to get places, and also they get rid of currency.
Yeah.
What is the logic behind that to be powerful and then get rid of currency and don't use the technology that we have? I don't get it. And they educated, usually they educate where in France? Yeah, most of them. Yeah.
I don't get it. I have no clue.
Okay.
Why they doing that? But to answer that question, because normally communists, they want to show they are dominant. They are, they can do it because they feel that because he wanted to assimilate the way Uncle won, that's a powerful country, right? That's no currency. At the time, we trade rice and sugar and all that, right? There's no gold and all that. So he wanted to start it fresh, So in a sense, yeah, he got rid of it because those is he feel that is will create corruption. Money, currency will create corruption. When you don't have it, then you cannot. But he didn't know that even during the Khmer rule, corruption still exists. Even more corruption because when people don't have food to eat, so they do whatever they needed to do to stealing, corrupt, cheating, and all that. It much more than he believes it to be. That's how I feel it. Even I, I'm, when I'm hungry, man, I, don't have food in front of me, man. So, but I have my own way. Yeah, I go to the forest, go get, the what you call it, the sweet potatoes, the sakaba root, all that, the leaf that I know that's edible. Yeah, I had no idea, man, why they did that. But my question is that just part of the communists, they want to control. They want to control people when there's no currency. When there's currency, then you're gonna get rich and poor again, right? So when there's nothing, though, he can control. Yeah.
Okay, Micaela.
I don't have another question, but I just wanted to add a comment to what we were just talking about on page 88 about the statement by Keith Sampan.
Yes.
It seems like he was trying to find his own way in coping in the situation and almost like dehumanizing everybody, just so he could disassociate from what was going on.
That's exactly it. I mean, you put a much better word than I do, and that's how probably his intention. He not really wanted to kill, but to at least an excuse, because he in charge of that.
Yeah, he's going along with it no matter what.
Yeah,
so.
he go along with that,
Yeah.
and he find word to make them look good at the same time,
Yeah.
So so doesn't
he
make
was
sense.
Just normalizing it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that you said that less food made you lazy when you're hungry, then you work 12 hours a day. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to say stuff like that. I mean, he think that we don't have the brain to think,
Yeah.
That's part of it, but that's come to my mind that it's kind of like he used all this thing like oppressed.
Yes.
It's kind of like we can't do anything.
Yeah.
So it's under his policy. It's up to him, and then do whatever he asked to. You know.
Yeah. That's the bottom line. Yeah, that's the bottom line. Oppression. The way, whatever way they come up with,
Okay.
And nobody can ask any question because.
Okay, everyone, and Lepu Patrick, we have many questions back and forth and also respond in English. So let me take this opportunity to ask a question in Khmer, in case we can share to our Khmer audience. Lepu តាមពិតលោកពូបានសរសេរសៀវភៅនេះចំណាយពេលជិត10ឆ្នាំបានលោកពូបានបង្ហាញពីដំណើរខ្សែជីវិតឆ្លងកាត់ពីរបបបល្ល័ង្កពូជសាសន៍រហូតទៅដល់ចេញទៅជាដែនចេញពីជាដែនរហូតឃ្លាយមកដល់សហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកមកកសាងជីវិតថ្មីលើទឹកដីឯនេសមុទ្រហើយបានទទួលនៅគេហៅថាភាពជោគជ័យក្នុងជីវិតដែលសភៅនេះបានសរបញ្ជាក់ឲ្យពីគេថាទោះបីជាយើងឆ្លងកាត់នៅឋាននរកក៏ដោយក៏លោកពូនិងក្រុមគ្រួសារនៅតែ rise បាននៅតែរះឡើងបានបាទហើយអ្វីដែលយើងបានសិក្សាបន្ថែមពីសភៅលោកវិជ្ជបណ្ឌិតដុកទ័រសៀងសេងយើងក៏បានសួរសំណួរនឹងទៅគាត់កាលពីកម្មវិធីថ្ងៃច័ន្ទឥឡូវនេះខ្ញុំចង់យកសំណួរនោះមកសួរលោកពូវិញចង់សួរថា ឥឡូវលោកពូបានសរសេរសភៅហ្នឹងលោកពូបានបោះពុម្ពផ្សាយឥឡូវកម្មវិធីរបស់យើងកំពុងតែអានសភៅរបស់លោកពូហ្នឹងមកដល់ជំពូកទី10និងទី11ហើយយើងបានគេហៅថាឲ្យពិភពលោកទាំងមូលបានដឹងបានឮបានទទួលជ្រាបនៅអ្វីដែលលោកពូចង់បង្ហាញនៅថ្ងៃនេះប៉ុន្តែបើយើងនិយាយពីពលរដ្ឋខ្មែរយើងដែលចាស់ភាគច្រើនដែលគាត់គេហៅថា Genocide survivors ហ្នឹងគាត់មិនចង់និទានរឿងឬក៏ប្រាប់រឿងរ៉ាវដែលគាត់ឆ្លងកាត់ពីរបបបល្ល័ង្កពូជសាសន៍ហ្នឹងទៅឲ្យកូនចៅគាត់ដើម្បីបានដឹងទេហើយខ្ញុំក៏មានមោទនភាពចូលរួមអបអរសាទរជាមួយនឹង Gloria ដែលម្ដាយ Gloria បាននិទានរាយរាប់រឿងរ៉ាវដែលគាត់ឆ្លងកាត់ពីរបបបល្ល័ង្កពូជសាសន៍ហ្នឹងឲ្យ Gloria បានដឹងគឺចំណុចនេះគឺសំខាន់មែនទែនយើងចង់លើកទឹកចិត្តឲ្យពុកម្ដាយក៏ដូចជាអ្នកដែលបានឆ្លងកាត់របបបល្ល័ង្កពូជសាសន៍ពលពតហ្នឹងបានរាយរាប់ជីវិតដែលគាត់ឆ្លងកាត់ហ្នឹងឲ្យបានកូនចៅបានដឹងមុននឹងពេលដែលគាត់លាចាកផុតឬក៏គាត់ធ្វើអ្វីបន្តទៀតយើងអត់ដឹងពីដំណើរជីវិតរបស់យើងមនុស្សម្នាក់ទេហើយខ្ញុំចង់សួរត្រឡប់ទៅលោកពូវិញចុះលោកពូវិញបានរាយរាប់ពីដំណើរជីវិតផ្ទាល់ជាមួយនឹងក្រុមគ្រួសារជាពិសេសកូនស្រីលោកពូផ្ទាល់ដើម្បីឲ្យគាត់បានដឹងបានយល់បានជ្រាបពីដំណើរជីវិតរបស់លោកពូក្នុងរបបបល្ល័ង្កពូជសាសន៍រហូតទៅដល់មកកសាងទឹកដីកសាងជីវិតថ្មីលើទឹកដីអាមេរិកទេលោកពូ
Well, the first part of the question as to why people in my generation somehow not be able to relate the history or the journey that they went through, the hardship that they went through, the sabangrungit that they went through to the offspring. I can offer maybe two, maybe one. First of all, my generation, it is a rare people of my generation go to school and get the college degree. And while was enough to express what's going on during that time. And plus, God might feel that, they call it a language barrier, right? God ប្រហែលជាមិនអាចនិយាយអង់គ្លេសបានក្បោះក្បាយដើម្បីប្រាប់ទៅកូនគាត់ព្រោះកូនគាត់ភាគច្រើនតែធំនៅនេះហើយគឺអត់សូវចេះខ្មែរទេគឺអង់គ្លេសដូច្នេះវា limit the ability to communicate to the offspring and ម្យ៉ាងទៀតរឿងរ៉ាវពតនឹងគឺឈឺចាប់ខ្លាំងមិនមែនឈឺចាប់តិចតួចទេគាត់ might feel that គាត់មិនចង់បន្ទុកអារឿងនឹងទៅឲ្យកូនដឹងឮច្រើនពេកខ្លាចកូននឹងទៅថាមានការយើងមើលមិនឃើញនៅក្មេងណាជួនណាវាមិននឹកឃើញថាជាខ្មែរជារឿងអម៉ែវានឹកអន់ចិត្តខ្លួនវាសម្រាប់ចំម៉ាក់ប៉ាអញអញ្ចឹងទៅអញមិនបានដូចគេអីមិនអាចឲ្យកូនគាត់ខំឲ្យបានខ្លាំងខ្លាដូចគេដូចឯងណាដល់ហើយតាមអានឹងវាជាកត្តាមួយដែរគាត់ដូចថា feel I'm suppressed មិនទាន់ប្រាប់ទេចាំវាធំតិចចាំអញនិយាយប្រាប់អញ្ចឹងឯណាអានេះតាមអានេះ feeling ដែលខ្ញុំមានហើយចំពោះរឿងថាប្រាប់កូនចៅខ្ញុំអីហ្នឹងដូចកូនខ្ញុំអីហ្នឹងគឺថា from the start not make her I ingrain to have them proud of her heritage everywhere we go we use that as an advantage rather disadvantage to let them know that yes we are a refugee but we will do we will rise and she did it she did from the elementary school middle school high school through college so she's proud all the way even though when she goes speak she's very good on debate she in a debate team she a number one kid and right the bat because I go as a parent they have you as a judge for those kids, right? You know, I always ask to sit in her debate, you know, right off the bat, you know, my parent is Cambodian, you know, refugee, you know, right off the bat, you know, and next picture Khmerនឹងមកពីណាផង you know គេបញ្យល់ទីទួយទៅបានគេនិយាយរបស់គេនិយាយរឿងគេ you know សូម្បីតាគាត់ទៅលេងកូនគោលណាព្រោះលេងកូនគោលអត់មានខ្មែរទេហើយអ្នកដែលលេងក្មេងៗដែលលេងកូននោះគឺកូនគេអ្នកមានទៀត you know I know she embarrassed that sometimes ខ្ញុំជា parent ធម្មតាវា parent ធម្មតាយើងទៅនាំវាទៅលេងរលើអញ្ចឹងហើយឧបមាថាគេលេងអញ្ចឹងគេវាយកូនគោអញ្ចឹងដូចថាមានអ្នកខ្លះទៅគេលេងអស់តាពាក់អស់តាកំប៉ោងគេអស់តាកន្លះអញ្ចឹងគេដើរចេញណាមិនអញ្ចឹងហើយខ្ញុំទៅគេដើរចេញខ្ញុំទៅរើសយករបស់នឹងខ្ញុំមិនដាក់ឲ្យវាវាយយល់ហ្នឹងហើយវាចំណាស់ខ្ញុំដឹងថាវាយើង embarrass ដែរប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំបង្រៀនវាថាហ្នឹងមានអីត្រូវ embarrass កូនអាហ្នឹងវាគេឈប់ទៅហើយគេឈប់ play ទៅហើយវាទុកចោលអត់ប្រយោជន៍ហ្នឹង you know ចឹងយើងត្រូវចេះសំចៃចេះអីឲ្យវាគិតពីរឿងផ្លូវល្អទៅវិញ rather than ផ្លូវមុនដំបូងវាយើងអៀនណាវាអត់ចង់ឲ្យខ្ញុំទៅរើសចឹងទេ you know ប៉ុន្តែដល់ក្រោយមកវាដឹងវាដើរទៅរើសខ្លួនឯងឃើញវាទៅរើសយកមកវាយធ្វើមិនដឹងចឹងទៅ you know ចឹងបានខ្ញុំបង្រៀនតាំងពីក្មេងឲ្យប្រាប់វាថា you know ម៉ាក់ប៉ាមកពីស្រុកខ្មែរអត់មានឲ្យវាដូចថា embarrass ទេប្រាប់តាំងហ្នឹងហើយសំបីឥឡូវហ្នឹងក៏ដោយ you know ឥឡូវហ្នឹងក៏ដោយសំបីឥឡូវវាជួលដល់ពីដំណាក់កាលមួយ that career វាអាច make or break ដោយសារយើងដែរ you know ព្រោះដល់ដំណាក់កាលមួយជួនណាវាplay ដែលយើងធ្វើការហ្នឹង you know គេធ្វើស្អីគេ secret clearance អីចឹងវាមានអ្នកតងអីច្រើនអីចឹងណាហើយកាលណាយើង parent មកពីស្រុកដែលធ្លាប់ជាកុម្មុយនីសអញ្ចឹងគេតាមដានច្រើនណាយល់ទេហើយជួនណាយើងអាច lose opportunity ដែរ you know ប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំប្រាប់គាត់ថាត្រូវតែបញ្ចេញឲ្យអស់ប្រាប់គេឲ្យអស់យើងនឹង show honesty ទាំងអស់ហើយយើងបញ្ចេញជាសមត្ថភាពយើងវិញ you know បើសិនគេអត់យកយើងគេចាញ់គេ lose ទេមិនមែនយើងអ្នក lose ទេបរិញ្ញាវាអញ្ចឹងវិញណា you know ឧមាគេអត់ select យើង they lose ព្រោះណាពីមុនថ្ងៃមុនខ្ញុំបាន telephone call មកគេថាប៉ា guess what ហើយថា what គាត់មិនទាន់ចប់ទេឆ្នាំនេះបានគាត់ចប់ឆ្នាំខែជូនឆ្នាំ21បានគាត់ចប់ប៉ុន្តែគេទទួលយកគាត់ធ្វើការរួចទៅហើយអញ្ចឹងគេ sign contract ជាមួយគាត់ឲ្យទៅធ្វើការមួយគេ you know មានប្រាក់ខែមានអីរួចស្រាប់ចាំដល់ពេលចប់សាលាទៅធ្វើការកន្លែងគេដែរម្ដង you know អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំគាត់ថាគាត់ feel proud ដែលគាត់ដូចថាប្រាប់គេថាជាកូនអ្នក refugee អីមកអញ្ចឹងទៅ you know បានទៅកន្លែងធ្វើការដូចគេដូចឯងអញ្ចឹង yeah it's yeah is it answer your question or មិនដែរគ្រប់គ្រាន់អត់
Okay, Lupu, could you summary a little bit the last part so Micaela can understand what is going on?
Oh, you mean yes,
about your daughter?
Yeah. When she's also a golfer. There's only Cambodian girl who play golf in United States, actually in the world, you know, and in that level. And she have been playing for university for 4 years. So she get the scholarship, full ride.
Awesome.
You know, full ride, you know, full ride to the, because ដូចជាខ្ញុំអញ្ចឹងគាត់ទៅរៀនសាលាហ្នឹងវាសាលា private
English
มันអាចជួយគាត់បាន
English please
I mean yeah it's private school so I cannot afford it because it's anywhere from 60 to 80,000 a year right so we cannot afford it but through her effort you know, to learn. And I also put my time to teach her how to do the golf. And every time when we go to play golf, you know, and some other people, they left the half of the basket, you know, on the ground because they finished or they don't want to play anymore. I used to go and pick them up and have her play it. When she was little, when she's small, she
Aw.
feel embarrassed, you know. But I explained it to her, don't feel embarrassed because we have to learn, you know, how to conserve. I mean, because they don't want to waste, because if don't nobody use, we go to waste. You know, you're talking about at least $5, you know, have a bucket, because a bucket is $10, right? Have a bucket is $5. So I teach her that way. And then when she grown a little bit bigger, when she saw people left, she go pick up herself. I don't have to go pick her up. You pick that up. So she learned that. So trying to, you know, trying to kind of, you know, introduce to her that don't feel embarrassed. You gotta be honest, you gotta tell people. And she also good at speak, you know, like at a speak contest. She was #1 in Hawaii, you know, in her school, you know, her speech, you know,
Wow.
and every time we have parents also go to as a coach or as the judge, and I would ask to attend her groups, you know, and I noticed that every time first sentence introduced, she come from my parent come from Cambodia. I'm an offspring of Cambodian refugee, you know, and then that one she said, I'm a Punahou student, and when they hear the Punahou student and you are a refugee Punahou student, you know, it's just out of their minds already. If you don't know Punahou, you can do a research, you know, what Punahou school is. You know, is a private top school in the nation, in the world actually. Obama also go to that school. And when you introduce you a refugee, right, offspring from Cambodia and all that, right? And they just thought that, oh, this is from, you know, little school someplace and like that, right? And then you had to introduce your name and then they say from Punahou. You know, it's just, you know, she not even say nothing, and just all of a sudden, just the audience, you know, the parent, the audience, you know, go crazy already. You know, so that's
Wow.
teach her the what you call it,
Discipline.
the brave, you know, the brave,
Yeah.
the courage. You know, don't be embarrassed. You know, you know, I even you know, anything that do wrong, even like golf, if you know, you're supposed to do 2 part, if you do 3 part, no big deal. You know, just laugh off. You know, move on. You know, stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm proud of her. So and teach her all the way. You know, from the start at elementary school, she knew where she coming from. You know, and most of her friend, I have her play with the refugee kid also. You know, I make an effort to her to have her play with them rather than the American people, because where I live doesn't have Cambodian. You know, doesn't have at all. You know, all
Yes.
American. None.
Yes. Yes, I'm very proud of you, Mr. Gao. I live in Mecca in Long Beach, a lot of Khmer, but yet
Yeah.
I notice my younger generation here doesn't know where they're coming from because one, I don't think they care enough about it.
Yeah.
Two, it's just that their parent not taking the time, or like you say, the language barrier to express themselves the right way to show the kid that emotional.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they understand where Khmer is here in the city of Long Beach, but outside of Long Beach, like say Midwest, for example, let's say Iowa, Missouri and stuff, when I'm in that regional town of that country, when I introduce myself as a refugee camp coming from Cambodia, like where? You know, but yet you don't want to say compare to Thailand, you don't want to compare to Vietnam, you want to be represent that Cambodia. But that's why I'm the Cruz and Hat and myself like to educate and next week we're gonna go do that culture center place. Yeah, we need that kind of place. Yeah.
Yeah,
So thank you.
when I introduced myself Cambodian, I know mention Thailand. I never mention
I don't
Vietnam.
either. I don't
never
either.
mention. I
Yeah.
just say Cambodian refugee, and then boom, I
Yeah.
say my credential, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, they know about refugee and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
But,
I don't need to bring the bad thing, to let them know so that they can feel sorry for you. No, I don't need
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah.
I don't need people to feel sorry for me. I'm just want to be treated as everybody else.
Yes.
I'm can handle myself in
Yes.
terms of,
You
Yes.
have
so
a
I never.
survivor mentality.
What you say again, please?
You have a survivor mentality, not a
Yeah.
victim mentality.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't.
Yeah.
I never feel that I'm a victim. Even during the Khmer, even my book, you see all those top, slogan on top of my
Mhm.
page, and all that. Yes, even during the Khmer, I wrote it. You are the one who make your own circumstances.
Mhm.
Even though you have nothing to do with that, but you make it. Like I make it. It's no food.
Mhm.
I go grow food in the forest. So what is a pig eat? I don't care. But I only need just one piece. When I'm hungry, I just need one or two. You know, it's like that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so water buffalo. That's another good example of And people will feel, oh, I'm gonna die because the water buffalo is so skinny and all that. No, I make it big, then I become more useful to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, can I help?
Okay.
I
Yeah,
need one
sure.
too.
Okay.
I want to go back to Lagu's saying about the law. I think that's the way the cultures grow up that way. It's called submissive.
Submissive. Okay.
Right? Because
Okay.
way is to stand up. They don't want to challenge it. They just and one thing maybe at the minority, we're not like growing large in some city or some
Yeah.
state, something like that too. It connected.
Is
So
again Cambodian nature, in general, we feel like we don't want to like you write resume. I read the resume of the people from Southeast Asia or Cambodia like that. They have a tendency not to put the best, to kind of brag
yeah,
yourself. They don't. They
yeah,
kind of humble and all
yeah.
that.
They kind of
And say,
keep it
no,
quiet
I
that
mean,
way.
yeah, you have a place for humbleness and all that. When you gather, you sauce, you mipsu, you don't want to show off in that. But in this place, like resume, a job seeking, man, no way. You had to, you had to,
Yeah,
you had to brag. Otherwise,
yeah,
nobody gonna lift you up. You know,
yeah.
you
But Kim
you know,
Chia
I always
Jalagu,
they always ask me, oh, you did so much, and in a short period of time. I said that's only 70% of it. The 3%, the 30% I haven't put that yet. Was too much already, and then really you have some more, yeah. Oh, let hear it, like that. So when they want to hear that 30%, boom, that's what I got them. you know, I just tell them what my credential just so that enough that if they don't hire me, that's their mistake, not me, right? But when they ask the right question, I say, no, this is just 70% of my qualification and my credential. I have another 30% that I didn't think that is relevant. But they say, oh, I want to hear it, boom. Then I just go back, to the Khmer, to the embassy, to how I can speak English, how I teach English, how I teach myself to become a translator, and how I be able to translate for the Congress of the United States, ambassador, all that, and among the interpreters, how did they select me? They speak as well as I do, but they feel you can shine and they can feel, you can feel the energy when you go, like you don't go to better, like, I mean, no confidence, especially when you translate a Congress, United States Congress, they come to Thailand, come to refugee camp like that. You got to be proud, translate for immigration officer, especially, you have to be sure that, yes, exactly, it's make the difference, the oh, you just a translator, you have no decision making, cannot make decision whether you allow people to go to America or not, right? And I think it's true. Let me ask you a question. They ask you a question, why you escaped, why you came to refugee camp, right? The same question. Yes, I came to refugee camp because I'm starving, no food. That translation could be rejected or could be approved. Just that alone, that phrase alone. I came to refugee camp because I starving, looking for food, all that. And the translator that's not smart enough or that's not see the pictures, we translate exactly what she said or what he said, rejected. Because that is not qualification as a refugee to come to the United States. No food is not a significant enough as a refugee status to come to the United States.
I've seen that a lot in the court system too with
Yes.
social work.
Yes.
Even with like restraining orders, or I've worked
Yes.
with like gang violence,
Yes.
and having kids go to school in the United
Yeah.
States.
Yes.
A lot of times, just simple word adjustments
Yes.
are what approves or denies cases.
Deny
It just like
instantly.
completely blows my mind that it's
Yes.
just something so simple, but it's such a big deal. It really
Yes.
is.
Yes. So translation is an art. It's a skill.
Mhm.
You can make or break the person. You do nothing wrong. You translate what they said.
Mhm.
Yeah, you translate what they said, but you add the texture add to why, why they hungry, why is no food,
Mhm.
either you said that Khmer don't give you food, or you say that I am a like they call it a city people, enemy of the Khmer, and they withdraw food. That's why I'm hungry. Boom! All of a sudden, approve. You come to United States. It's simple as that. And you just say, oh, she came because she's seeking food because there's no food to eat in Cambodia. Boom, rejected. Just like that. And don't tell me that translator doesn't have power to to at least help you to come to United States. Most people who come to my table only reject it when you are severely liar, you Khmer, or you really why they like sometimes it's not their relative, but they want them to come, and then they say sister, right? Sister, brothers, and then the face is totally different, and the caseworker or immigrant officer said that, okay, take one out, right? And then ask one person, say that, how do you parent grow right? What are they plow, right? Person they say, oh, plow ជាមួយគោ let's say អញ្ចឹងណាគោគោពណ៌អីពណ៌ក្រហមមួយពណ៌ក្រហមអញ្ចឹង I mean red brown oxes or something like that, and then call another brother come in, because they say they're brother sister, right? They say, oh, how you parent cultivate rice, how did they plow? And they say, oh, with water buffalo. Boom, right there, you liar, even though she say oxes, but okay, what color? And you said, oh, one white, one brown. Boom, you lie already. See, don't tell me, because I knew that. So I never translate color. I just say I translate oxes or water buffalo. I don't translate color. And
Yes.
how did
Yes.
how did the immigration know, right? I just say yes.
Yes, that's gonna be also similar, like my generation in the 40. A lot of them deported, and yet they get a certain lawyer, public defender, and stuff. When they translate, they don't translate the way the condition is. They translate the way the word they know, and how they learn in school. And then guess what? A lot of kids that get in trouble got deported, and
Yeah.
and because the decision makers in that translation itself, and
Yes.
they
Yes.
translate all.
So because you translate the the meaning that they said, but you have to put in a context to help them, in a context, because there's a context. You cannot just translate a word. You put in a context.
The best person to
and
translate for me
sometimes,
is Mr. Lecru Sangha. You know how to elaborate it and very articulate.
because sometimes the translator himself or herself is not well versed. It's not well versed in field, in the field. So they only translate what they say. No, you have to translate the feeling of it, the emotion. You have to be able to translate the emotion also. And how do you translate emotion? It's gonna be hard. You got to put in a context of emotion that, even though he did it, the reason behind that, because of to defend themselves with the violation of another group, I don't defend, between life and death, then they understand, oh, that's why you say, oh, you're a gang member. Yes, he is a gang member, right? No, you have to, the reason of it. I don't want to be a gang member, but I don't, the other group gonna be attack my group or attack me, and I have to be in group so that I can, protect myself. Stuff like that. It makes a difference.
Thank you.
So that's why we have dozen of us, maybe not dozen, around over the country. I also translated for the judge also in Honolulu. But sometimes they fly me to some other state to translate, certain issue,
Okay,
So
so now we have 15 more minutes to go.
Okay, so
Please
whoever
go
have
around and check it out. If you have any other question, please
next
shoot
question,
to
fire away. Micaela,
Patrick
you look like you have it,
before
or
we ending our
Gloria?
program. Please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Gloria or Micaela, who have any other
I think
question? Kelly?
all my questions have been answered.
No more question, Gloria? Gloria?
No,
I thought last time you said you have a lot of questions. Your mom have a lot. That's a lot of questions.
Okay,
my daughter's here. I don't want to disrupt anything. Sorry.
Okay, if you guys don't have, let me ask the last question of today. So let me ask in Khmer. So Lupu, maybe you can translate my question and you can answer both in Khmer and in English because you are professional interpreter or translator.
All right.
Lupu, ខ្ញុំចង់ឲ្យលពូក្នុងនាមជាលពូម្នាក់ដែលដូចអ្វីដែលយើងនិយាយច្រំដែរម្ដងហើយម្ដងទៀតជាអ្នកដែលឆ្លងកាត់នៅឋាននរកប៉ុន្តែមកឡើងរះឡើងចង់បើតាមមកដល់ដូចជាឋានសួគ៌លោកីវិញអញ្ចឹងដំណើរជីវិតហ្នឹងបានថាផ្លាស់ប្ដូរធំធេងមែនតើហើយខ្ញុំចង់ឲ្យលោកពូមានសារខ្លីដើម្បីជូនទៅដល់ពុកម្ដាយដែលឆ្លងកាត់របបបល្ល័ង្កពូជសាសន៍ប៉ុលពតហ្នឹងដែលគាត់រស់នៅស្រុកខ្មែរក្តីរស់នៅអាមេរិកក្តីរស់នៅគ្រប់ទិសទីនៅជុំវិញពិភពលោកក្តីតើគាត់គួរតែប្រាប់រឿងរ៉ាវរបស់គាត់ឆ្លងកាត់ពីរបបបល្ល័ង្កពូជសាសន៍ប៉ុលពតហ្នឹងទៅកូនគាត់ឬក៏មិនគួរសូមជម្រាបលោកពូ
Well, Clay, I think they should, at the same time, I think they should, but at the same time, because we have a couple.
Could you translate my question first before you come up with the question or with the answer?
Oh, your question, I was asking that, what, I mean, should the parent, whether both in America or in Cambodia, that should they tell the story of the survival of the Khmer to the offspring, the children's. And my answer is that yes, right off the bat. Doesn't matter whether you doesn't speak English or speak Khmer, try to tell them in your own word. At the same time, we have a few books already exist in this world. My book in particular that have all the ingredient. After your story, you tell individual story yourself, and then you recommend it to you. Okay, I'm gonna buy book for you that you want to learn more. This book is it. And then you read it, and then you can come and ask dad or mom again. But for now, my own word, I can only tell you this. But this book have all, survive. I mean, and all that, Khmer, right? Have it, have. Even though we mentioned you would about គាត់មិនពិតប៉ុន្តែទេសភាពនឹងវាដូចគ្នា ហើយវាជួយគាត់ពីរឿងថាលោកមើលគាត់ប៉ាប៉ាមិនបានធ្វើអីចឹងមែនប៉ុន្តែលោកមើលគាត់មកដល់ស្រុកគេម្នាក់ឯងហើយគាត់អាចទៅរៀនអីចឹងបន្ថែមឲ្យគាត់ proud កុំឲ្យគាត់ខ្មាស់គេឲ្យ proud គាត់នឹងធ្វើបានខ្ញុំធ្វើបានដូចគាត់កុំភ័យ I'm gonna try my best to do the same way as he did, because if he can come to America without have any parent, no money, yeah, some English, but it's not sufficient. Even though I speak English at the time in Thailand in borders, but when you come to academic, nowhere. I mean, nowhere sufficient, But for some reason, when I go to take the test, I was started with English 100. And English 100 is a native writing, yeah. It's a native course, They say, oh, he qualified for ESL 100, and most people start from ESL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until they get to 100. I don't know why I get it. I know my ability of writing at the time is not that great. And my speaking is all right. I can, I can do it, but it's not as, because they're looking for, I don't know, at the time somebody teach me tonation, I forget already, you just can speak it, but you gotta have some kind of tone, and all that. And 30 years ago I learned that, but now I just whatever come out in my mouth. Sometimes I speak different tenses. I don't care. I just so yeah. That's my short words. Tell your children, and then recommend 2 books, 3 books. What's the name? For They Killed My Fathers, also a good story. Even though she was like only 5 years old at the time, I'm not sure she remember all of that, but at least she do research and her information is correct. It's not out of the question. It's in there. But she talk a lot about parent and the member of the family. Like my book is a lot more history. My journey, yeah, some. But because I only myself, I have no brother, sister to talk about, so I talk about just myself, and then my achievement at the end. And that to me is the ingredient, I mean, the thing that encourage people to do better. Those 4 chapters or 3 chapters at the end encourage people to do better. At least just make them happy, as a happy people, accept them as you are. If you don't have it, still find a way to be happy with what you have. Because it defeat the purpose if you not happy with what you don't have. You don't have. Why you too concerned about things that you don't have? The choice that in front of you, whatever you have, the choice that you have, plenty enough to do. Why you concentrate on something that you don't even have or don't even, you can't do the whole everything, just do the one in front of you, passion in your heart, what are in your heart. And I'm pretty sure you do in your heart and read the book and pick the one that you like and do it. Especially, the story of my daughter, it's very difficult because as a parent refugee and she wanted to go to university in mainland and private school and top private school in the East West and the Northwest, it's not that easy. And we did it. And she, you know what? She opt out Stanford. She rejects Stanford. She reject USC. Can you believe that? This girl, because, why? I said, why do you do that, Gon? Because they don't give me what I want. I want to play golf for them, but they give me academic, full ride, the same thing, full ride academic. But say, that's not what I want. I want to play golf for them. And Stanford, the same thing. They give her a reserve spot. Okay, and is somebody like uh, sick or something like that, then she go replace like that. No, I want a full spot because I'm good enough.
That's awesome.
She good enough because she qualified to play LPGA.
When you
And
know, you know. That's awesome
yeah,
that she was confident in what she had
yeah,
already.
and I say, come on, you cannot reject Stanford. You cannot reject USC. You can do that, go. I told her, I said, don't worry that. This school is good enough, plenty good, but they give me the full ride. They trust me, they want me. And you know what? She was in the first position. She was a number one in the group. And later on, she can go to number two, number three, like that. But the first year, freshman, nobody have freshmen to play. No, freshmen, they don't let freshmen play, right? You go all that, then sophomore, study, then play. She play first, freshman, she play. She go and she lead the team, go play.
That's so cool.
I said, really? Normally freshmen, they don't let you play. They know. They're afraid that I might transfer. They don't let me play. You gotta show people that that's what you want. And I'm pretty sure they will accommodate it, because they see the passion, yeah. And they're looking for those type of attitude, those type of people.
Exactly.
And that book represented the whole thing, I put in tone in a way that whatever I went through, whatever the hardship that I went through, it not affected me. It's not affected my achievement, my outlook in life. I use that as a Marian, as Capisout experience, to write about that, but I'm not use that as obstacle to tie me down. It's not good enough to tie you down. So that is my Sangha, that is my last word for the people in Cambodia, and also people in not just America, not just the Cambodian, the world, American, Australians, Canadians, and whole world. This is it. So, yeah, but đã cục còn ót.
Cruise on hot lugay.
Huh?
Something went wrong. Yeah.
More than enough
Yeah.
for today. Yeah.
Yeah, mấy đá cục còn ót some lòi nhom.
Nghĩa là miền mũi tiết là kiên ngắn ở Kerry.
Kerry. Mấy đá. Oh.
Oh
Okay,
no.
so, once again, thank you everyone. Thank you, Lapu Patrick Cao, the author of My Rise, How I Escaped Genocide, for your time, for your response to all the reader questions. That is very helpful, very fruitful. It is very important for us. And thanks for your friendly tale about your family as well. So
Yeah.
I will our program come to the end, and see you next Wednesday. At,
Okay, and then when you put that on Facebook, don't forget tag me, Paul. I like to have it on my Facebook too, because sometimes I don't have to where that is.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
អរគុណចំពោះក្រុមអ្នកអានផង
Yeah អរគុណច្រើន with the Paris chapter ពីនេះ chapter ពីនេះ chapter សំខាន់ដែរ you know ជាពិសេសyou know ខ្ញុំកាត់ដៃខ្ញុំ you know yeah it's
បាទសូមអរគុណ bye bye
okay bye bye
Bye. Thank you. ជំរាបលា
Thank you so much.
Bye.